There's not enough rich men in this world for all y'all broke. Oh, dead ass. It's too many of y'all.
Jeez.
Y'all need to chill. Chill with all these crazy expectations from men and, and being so delusional. Relax and get what you can get. Because once you over 30 with kids,
Literally,
and you're over 150 pounds,
do women have any
you better get what you can get, baby. Because they don't want you.
Women don't qualify. In fact, 90% of women don't qualify for a hypergamous relationship.
Thank you.
90%.
Yeah, until they meet me. I would say 90%. Absolutely.
Start from the top.
I think we heard her the first time.
But if she would have said 90% of men are disqualified from marriage, you would have been happy to hear that on repeat. Fuck out of here.
Shut up, bitch!
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Ron, back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. I want to go over a video with you guys, as well as another video from Medium Man. This video is of a dating coach who says 90% of women are disqualified from a hypergamous relationship. Yeah, that's soft life. Really, we can make the argument that 90% of them are disqualified just because there's just not enough men out there that make this kind of money. However, I think something tells me she's going to have a different reason. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Women don't qualify. In fact, 90% of women don't qualify for a hypergamous relationship.
Thank you.
90%.
Yeah, until they meet me. I would say 90%. Absolutely.
Start from the top.
I think we heard her the first time.
I want this. No, start from the top.
It's true. 90% of women do not fall into that space of deserving the kind of man that will protect and provide on that level. You might get the guy who will take you to a fancy restaurant. You might get the guy who will throw you $200-$300, but he's not going to spend 20 bands to build your business because you're just not that bitch. First of all, you don't have a business. You don't even mind your business. You might get the...
So in other words, it sounds like what she's saying is that you ain't got no motion, but you all up in somebody else's pocket. That's what it sounds like she's saying to me. But I think any man that's in a position to do so is always going to look at that woman and think, okay, what does she bring the value into my life that's going to make things easier for me? Because if I'm investing in her like this, that's going to make things easier for her from my end. So what is she adding to me in return? And I think a lot of guys that are in a position to even provide that kind of a lifestyle, I think that's what they're going into these situations thinking. I mean, it's just common sense, especially nowadays when you see so many women on social media demanding this kind of lifestyle. But the moment you ask them, what does a man expect in return, then that's when women get triggered. They fumbling on their words. They want to get upset, or they'll sit over here and say things like he gets me, or I am the table, and so on and so forth. And it's like, men are logical creatures, and because women are so demanding of men's money, men are understanding their value now, and they're valuing their money and how they spend it a lot more as well. So I think it's just a cause and effect thing, to be honest with you. So now I want to show you this video that Medium Man put up a while ago. And again, shout out to Medium Man. I always got to shout him out. Love this brother's content. Until this day, I think he should still have more subscribers. I've seen a few people in the comments have a few complaints about him, because I know he's kind of been teetering a little bit more towards the middle, and holding men accountable and challenging men to some degree. So I can understand why some people might have veered away from watching him, but I still watch the brother and I like his content. And I think he should have more subs. But he did this video going over the stats of people that make 100K or more. And I think this is very important because women clearly don't know about this. Check this out.
In poll, 68% said C, which is 12%. 25% said A, 4% said B, and 2% said D. Let's see if we were right. Here we go. So, 18% of US adults fall into this high income bracket, $100,000 or more. So, how many men in the US earn 100K or more a year? A, 18%, B, 25%, C, 12%, D, 50%. 59% said C, which is 12%. 20% said B. 18% said A, which is 18%. 1% said D, which is 50%. 25% of men in the United States earn $100,000 or more a year. And this is the most recent information, 2024, November, I believe. 25%, 1 in 4. So if you count 4 men, one of them make $100,000 a year. And it's not surprising because income earnings have went up, if you guys didn't know that. How many women in the U.S. earn 100K or more a year? A, 18%, B, 25%, C, 12%, D, 50%. Let's stop the poll. Let's see what y'all said. 63% said C, 32% said A, 3% said B, 1% said D. 12% of women earn over 100K a year. 12%. So no, Kendra G, every woman that comes on your show does not really earn 100K or more.
I got all the boss women that call me child. Y'all are doing well, child.
I hate to put a dig in there, but I got to. It is funny when I see those live streams and every woman, well, I make $100,000 a year. I'm like, okay. Okay.
And I think what's very important about what he just showed you guys is that notice he didn't mention race. Let's start there, because you know most of the people that watch him are black. Most of the people that watch me are black. But even with that being said, though, only 1 out of 4. And just a couple years ago, it wasn't even that. But that was, once again, like he said, wages have gone up. I will say this, and these were stats based off of 2024, by the way, just for y'all, just so y'all know. Grateful and fortunate enough to fall in that 25%, but still 1 out of every 4. And then when you look at the women, it's 12%. So 12%, that's damn near 1 out of every 10. So when you look at it from it, so let's put it to you. Let's do it like this: 25%, 12%. That's gonna leave you with 13% of men that make 100K or more, right? Let's just, for shits and giggles, out of that 13% that's left, how many of them do you think are single? How many of them are gonna be attractive enough? Do they want kids? Do you want them to be childless? Do they want to have kids? Are they childless? I mean, the list goes on, and it's like, once you start to break it down like that, you start to understand, like, damn, no wonder there's so many women that are single and frustrated. No wonder they got studies over here saying that damn near half of y'all gonna be single by 2030 and childless. Because it seems like everything is coming down to getting this particular type of man that makes this X amount of money. And then you got women that are stupid enough to sit over here and talk about, well, what I have to. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna just show y'all that video because I thought this was dumb.
I'm seeing this narrative go around social media a lot where only 80% of women want the top 20% of men or something like that. And that's the high value men. And there's like a large pool of women who want this very small pool of high value men. What I have to say about that is you need to ask yourself, why is there so few high value men? Why is that? Would that be a better use of your time and attention to address why are there so few high value men that can't seem to keep up with how women are out earning and outpacing them in every other like facet in life?
Another dumb take from this girl. So let's go over her whole point here. So her whole point here is that whole claim by guys that 80% of the women go after the top 20% of high value men is that's not what we should be focusing on. The real problem is why are there only 20% high value men? So to answer this question, you have to ask yourself, lady, what do you describe as somebody who is high value? Most of the time, they're going to describe relatively materialistic and superficial qualities. Most women, when they're describing a high value male, they're going to talk about his income, how good looking he is, how tall he is, whether he's maintained his hair at past the age of 30. So when you go and preface the question by saying, oh, why aren't there more guys just trying harder? It's the same energy as seeing a poor person saying, why don't you just go buy a house? A lot of girls want to hide behind the fact that majority of the time when they're talking about high value men, they're not talking about superficial materialistic qualities, and they're going to hide behind the fact that they're actually looking for like, somebody who's emotionally intelligent, well-spoken, really in touch with himself. But the reality is if a 5'2" man who made $40,000 a year and was bald came up to you and he was the most well-spoken, respectful man, it might help, I guess a little, but you're not dating him. So you prefacing the answer by saying, why don't you just go make yourself more valuable? That's because it's not that easy. I am somebody who's in the top 5% for my income, for my age, and I can still sit there and empathize with people who don't make a lot of money and understand that that's not necessarily their fault. And even though me personally, I've never really had any negative experiences when it comes to dating, I can empathize with the fact that a lot of my friends or other males who do, it's not necessarily their fault. Because she'll contradict herself by saying a lot of women are out earning men, which is actually true. But then I'm sure this girl also believes that women are being discriminated against and, the gender pay gap is totally a real thing. The whole point here is if you give a very easy solution to a very complicated problem, you are most likely not understanding what the problem is. This is a girl who teaches and ran a Tumblr blog teaching on how to go and be a sugar baby and how to extract resources from men. And then you're telling men to go and make themselves more high value, which it's been pretty obvious what you determine to be high value is somebody who makes a lot of money. I know this might be hard for you to believe, but most people who are not making $400,000 a year, it's not really on purpose. Because if you go watch every single dating story that this girl has ever posted, she makes sure to insert how much wealth the man has. Like, it's impressive that the guy that she's going on a date with has wealth, even though she herself didn't obtain any. I think a lot of these girls try to overcompensate for the fact that they've never really been solely picked by a man with their standards. So they'll be like, yeah, listen, I'm single and I'm like in my mid-30s, but look at the high quality men that I'm going on dates with. And by high quality, I mean, they're pretty successful financially. Instead of listening to a girl who runs a Tumblr blog talk about male dating problems that she has absolutely no understanding of, I'd recommend watching this video by Professor Scott Galloway, who actually has a degree in the things that he's talking about. And so I'll leave you with this video.
When the woman in the relationship starts making more money, they become twice as likely to get divorced. What gets lost in that data is the reality is if a woman is stepping up and stepping into the economic void, being a greater economic contributor, then logically it would make sense that men need to step up logistically. And I think what a lot of women are saying is like, okay, I'm not getting anything. You're no longer a provider. And by the way, you haven't filled that void. You haven't made up the delta. It's not a crime against humanity if women have the skills to make more money. What happens though is we don't like to talk about this. 75% of women say that economic viability is hugely important to make. Only 25% of men. For men, it's not a criteria. For women, it is. 50% of women say they won't date a man shorter than them. But I think it's more like 80%. It's just instinctively, women feel like they'll be vulnerable during gestation and they want someone they think physically could protect them. Women will look horizontal and up, keep shrinking. So this notion, a ton of great women, where are the men? Or there's no men? There's a lot of men, just not men they want to date. And then you speedball it with the guys who are in the top 10% can engage in courtship polygamy. They can get a date every goddamn night, which does not encourage long-term or very good behavior. So the guys they all want are not incented to enter into long-term relationships. And the bottom half of men are literally shut out of the mating market.
And again, I think that's why so many women who want this type of lifestyle are complaining about not being able to get it because, again, and I've said this before, bro, the men that are in that top percentile, bro, they are not incentivized to take y'all seriously due to the fact that all of y'all want them so bad, y'all are willing to even throw y'all morals out of the window. You got women that are literally over here saying he can cheat in peace. I don't mind sharing him with other women as long as he can provide. So what's really important? And this is one of the reasons why I always never liked women saying high value, because when women say high value, it's always tied to finances. You got some that'll try to camouflage it like all the other shit matters, but none of it doesn't matter if it doesn't come with that bag first. So That's the reason why a lot of men that got the bag, they can still get what they want and they're not incentivized, because y'all have made that such a priority, even though y'all claim to be out earning us now, which is kind of funny because I've heard them say like, yeah, how the fuck y'all gonna complain y'all out earning us now, but y'all still over here bitching and crying about a damn pay wage gap. Make up y'all damn mind. I tell you, bro. Yeah, I'm like, shit don't make any sense. Let's keep it moving.
I'm a woman. I have the degrees. I guess you would say I make the money. But I thought it was like common knowledge that wasn't gonna like help me get a man. Like, I feel like I keep having the same conversations over and over, like with my friends, and like, man, the more money I got, the harder it is dating, the more this or that. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, we're all in the same boat, but it's like, I don't think that was the intention. Like, when you're making, all the money and stuff, our money is our money. Like, our degrees and stuff are for us. Like, you wanted to be a doctor since you were a kid. Like, did you think that you becoming a doctor was going to make it easier for you to get a man? Like, did you think you making $1 million a year was going to make it easier for you to get a man? Men play on a different scoreboard than us. They're more shallow. Like, they care about looks. They care about, if anything, they care about how you like make them feel, like, ego-wise. Like, I don't know most men that care about your money unless they need it. I'm dead ass. Like, I'm not even trying to be slick or like, like, I'm not even trying to. It's just like, men don't care. And I think they don't care because they know that for the most part, most women are not going to break bread with them. Like, most women, when they get a lot of money, we're getting prenuptial agreements. Like, damn right. If I had millions of dollars before I married you and you were making $100K a year, I'm getting a prenuptial agreement. But if it was like the shoe was on the other foot, we'd be like, oh, well, you're thinking about divorce. Like, why? I don't even know why you're thinking about that. If a woman makes $1 million a year, some women would still want a man that made $1,001 just to say he had more, or like equal or more than what she had. Even if, like, okay, I'll give you an example. This is probably maybe not your relationship goals, but like, say JT and Lil Uzi. I bet you Lil Uzi's probably paying most of her bills. And she's a millionaire probably by herself. JT has her own career, not a job, a career. And why do you think that is? Why do you think that is, that even though she's rich, she still is somewhat of a kept woman? You could argue it's because of what she puts up with. And that's a fair argument. Who knows? We don't know what happens behind the scenes. But I very much think JT doesn't give that energy, at least at home, that I don't need a man. I don't need a man. She's very much the type that gives off my man, my man, my man. Every day in the comments, she's like, always like, like speaking very highly of him, speaking up when people talk down on him. Like, the trick is, you can have all the money in the world. If you're not fine, men don't want you. I don't know if I said anything profound here, but if you're not fine as fuck, men do not want you. Women that are pretty will always have options. And I want to say another thing, it doesn't even matter how old you are. Like, whether you're 20 or whether you're 60, if you're fine, you're going to have options. I'll tell you right now, the pretty rich women are not having any trouble finding a man. The pretty women that still are like kind of soft and still give off like, know how to stroke a man's ego, know how to let a man still do things for them, and aren't giving like super hyper independent, they're still getting that princess treatment. They're still getting tricked on. They're still getting their bills paid. They're still getting flued out.
even if they have their own careers, millions of dollars in the bank, they're still getting houses bought for them. I'm just saying. So I don't know. I really wish like more women. I thought, again, I'm a girl's girl. That's why I'm not sugarcoating it. Like, these are the type of conversations like I be having with my friends. Like, never in life was our money or our degrees gonna help us get a partner. Like I said, if anything, you being in those rooms in the proximity, that could help you for sure. You got to get yourself in front of these people. But if you are looking for a man, and I know a lot of women are not necessarily looking for a man, but if you are looking for a man, the best investment you can probably make is into your appearance. Dead ass. Like, dead ass. Like, at the end of the day, men are shallow. Like, they can talk about, oh, I want the peace, I want this or that. They will walk right past a woman with millions of dollars to a beautiful woman that has nothing. So if you got the money, as shallow as it sounds, but again, this isn't my advice to you. This is my advice to you if maybe you're trying to find a man. Like, your appearance, your weight. That's what most of them care about. Especially the ones that got the... That's my advice to you, boo. Because again, men are not going to care as much as we care, because they know that a lot of women are not breaking bread. A lot of women, at the very most women would do 50-50. But a lot of women, even if they have the money, are still expecting you to pay, are still expecting men to pay and trick and do all this kind of stuff. And I know women like this in real life. Like, my best friend, not to put her business out there, but my best friend makes a lot of money, and I still feel like she'll always be able to keep a man, because she's not like one of those, like, I don't need a man. When she's by herself, like when she's single, this bitch is Barbiana the Builder. I'm pretty convinced that this woman could build a house with her bare hands. But when she's with a man, she's not giving like, oh, I can do this by myself. I don't need you. I bought my house, my car, my this, my show, my flow, bought me the dough. Like, I'm just saying, like, some women just give off that energy where men would just want to give them everything, even if they already have the world. Like, that's how you gotta be. You gotta be fine as hell, and you still gotta be a little, you gotta bend a little bit. You gotta give them a little bit. Yeah, that's it.
And that's unfortunate, because she's not even like a bad looking woman now. Obviously, like, because when what she means when she say fine. We all know what she means. But it ain't like she was ugly. But more than likely, she probably has an ugly attitude, given the fact that you make a lot of money, so you feel entitled to deal with a man that makes just as much as you, if not more. And I don't know, maybe she's just having a major epiphany or something, because she pretty much answered her own question throughout this whole rant. And I think she had a rant like this before, because she looks kind of familiar. If y'all recognize her at all, let me know. But she looks familiar for some reason. I think she might have had a rant like this before. But like I said, man, men have been trying to tell women, successful women, all the time, it has nothing to do with y'all being successful. We're not intimidated by how much you make. Why would we be intimidated by how much you make, when she even admitted that most of those women are not trying to break bread anyway? That's the reason why men don't care. Why should I care about your accomplishments and your money if you're not breaking bread with me? Even if you're going 50-50 with me. Well, I won't say 50-50, but yeah, if you expecting a man to come through and pretty much just take the financial burden off of you, yeah, those men aren't going to really care. And the men that are successful, they're not incentivized to settle down or take any of y'all seriously. And they have unlimited options, because, as she stated, your money doesn't matter at that point. I've been saying for a long time, man, I think women being successful is really just been a waste of their time, because y'all spend all this money and get in all this debt only to turn around and nobody wants to deal with you, because your options are limited due to your desire for hypergamy. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification. That way y'all know when I'm uploading. Hit the like button because it helps with the algorithm and helps me reach a broader audience. Also, look out for the travel blog channel, Unplugged Traveler. Link is in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.